Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you might find yourself today in this very tactical village that we call the world. For us, your global advanced logistics group here in the Middle East, South Africa, and South America, always coined as the world's most colorful zones. You guessed it, it's always 0 dark 30. We wanted to bring to you a concept of PTSD and CTSD and the close protection and high risk protection and logistics field as well, as we are a provider in those aforementioned areas. We, as a protective entity, not only protect your physical posture, but we also take your mental health seriously, and we want you to stay safe, and we would like you to take a part in sharing that health of your mental fitness with us when you get to the world's most colorful zones. Foreign aid workers are at a special risk as they often immerse themselves in the world's most colorful zones for long periods of time. Always consider pressure and stress when planning work activities, particularly production schedules, rotations, shifts, and working patients and patterns as you travel from location to location. And we also pay attention to the amount of hours that you work. We as an oversight command do that for you, our entity that we're currently in business with in the world's most colorful zones. We have briefed our clients to factor in sufficient rest periods, time off duty, and include things of contingency plans to make sure your mental and physical well-being are well taken care of. We also ask you to plan for management overtures and overruns, reference schedules not being done on time, reference how you can get them done in a speedily, expeditious fashion where you're not putting too much stress on the mind and the body. We, as your protection detail and your logistics provider, will advise you to look out for signs and symptoms, not just for yourself, but also in colleagues as well. This can include usual and unusual mood swings, irritability, poor concentration, poor memory lapses, increased emotional reactions, sometimes survival guilt if you get into any of the vehicle convoy accidents or engagements with foreign entities in the world's most colorful zones. We also try to strive to make sure that you're doing physical abilities in the world's most colorful zones. That way, not only is your mind and your body up to par, but literally your aura is a little bit more welcoming towards that area that you're going to be stationed in. When we talk about mood swings, we talk about your concentration issues, your increased emotional reactions, your fatigue, your headaches, your nightmares, your flashbacks of past upsetting events, the world's most colorful zones. Sometimes we experience that people do have some social withdrawals, which we try to combat. Substance abuse is not at a high rate of indenture now as it was probably, let's say, 10 years ago. We usually see symptoms appear within 6 months of the traumatic event, so you could either be in country or out of country when you start experiencing these attributes that we just mentioned in the aforementioned paragraph. We found out that people can feel depressed, anxious, grief-stricken, guilty, and angry. They may have symptoms of intrusive flashbacks to the event and the nightmares. They do start to have coping mechanisms, starting as avoiding the distractions, which we literally try to get people to talk about and to actually face them so we can actually move along with that mission parameters intact. Some people do get very defensive when you do talk to them, reference these issues, and they get defensive about their self-awareness and their surroundings if they're in country or when they actually do leave country. Global Advanced Logistic Group's Hostile Environment Operator Oversight Command, which we're a part of, we will at week's end, with every detail and with every entity, take a step back and assess where our valued client you is, not only with your mental health, but also with your project with regards to safeguarding your mental health. We have all heard of the term PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Global Advanced Logistics Group has coined a new phrase called CTSD, that is continued traumatic stress disorder. And that's for all the staff, be they private military contractors, civil military contractors, NGOs, media, that currently put themselves in the world's most colorful zones to ply the trade and to help out sometimes the less fortunate. If you'd like to find out more about Global Advanced Logistics Group Security Solutions and how we can better serve you in the Middle East, South Africa, and South America, together with our other global tactical partners around the world, we're going to include our contact information to the bottom right-hand portion of this podcast. As always, from your Global Advances and Logistics Group staff here in the Middle East, South Africa, and South America, stay low, move fast. Good evening.